Hello, you guys. This is going to be a channel message for soulmates or twin flames, whatever you resonate with. So I'm just going to refer to you as soulmate one because it's easier, I guess. I don't really do the whole twin flame um, label stuff like divine masculine, feminine, unless it helps others to do it like that. But you guys know who you are. So you're soulmate one or whatever, twin flame, whatever. And so that would be, I guess, divine feminine for some of you, and then divine masculine would be soulmate two. So this is what about soulmate one triggers soulmate two. So are they being triggered by the other? What I mean by this is, of course, we trigger each other to process and learn things, but it's in the way that we trigger them, or what exactly are we triggering. Mainly, I don't know if it's just we just assuming automatically that they're being triggered by the fact that we don't look like, a Kim Kardashian type, or um, whatever, whatever the case may be, or we don't look like, what's a good male example? Um, that's just what comes at the top of my head, so I'm gonna just use it. Trey Songs or something, or Idris Alba or somebody. Like, does it trigger you that I don't have this, or we're not the same race or the same culture, or we don't, we're a different sex? What about me triggers you? Because there's some sort of attraction or some sort of pull there, but the denial and saying that, I like you, but you're just not my type, or flirting with you, but then not willing to date you or give you the time of day. We have to be very careful that we're not in a unrequited situation, or we're being rejected and just trying to pass it off as a twin flame soulmate thing. That's why you have to be careful about these titles and these labels and the so-called stages, because they can put you in a state of denial. But obviously, when somebody's feeling you or not, even if they don't say it to you. It's like the guy on the playground that pulls your hair, but later on you find out that he likes you, that type of thing. Like you catch them staring at you and blushing at you, but then they're playing you off in front of their friends and their family like they don't want you. They don't have the time of day for you. That's different, okay? But if this person is blatantly saying like, fuck off, blocking you, get away from me, I'm not into you like that, and they're really not showing you any interest, more than likely that person is not what you're thinking they are. So, a friend brought this up to me yesterday. She had said something like she feels like she triggers her soulmate or twin flame because of her looks. Like, she thinks it might be the fact that they look like brother and sister. So how many times do we hear about that in twin flame, so-called twin flame connections, is that brother and sister look-alike type of thing, or they might look like your family. I know a few soulmates that have looked like people in my family, and it was kind of weird to me. Um, I don't know. It could be sharing the same ancestry or something like that, possibly. But she was saying that she feels like she triggers him because he kind of looks like her and looks like his mother, and he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother. I feel. I think that's what she said. So automatically when he sees her, you remind me of my mom. I don't like you. You trigger certain things within me. That's all by divine orchestration. I really believe. If that's really the case, I feel like that's because there's something, you're there to mirror something back in him about his mother that he needs to address and heal. Okay. And it could be deeper. It could be, that's why he doesn't date certain types of women, because they might look like his mother, or they might say certain things like, that might come off as mommy-ish or demanding, or maybe too nurturing, and he doesn't like that. From my understanding, she's the nurturing, and the other person that is involved is more of a neglect type, the get away from me type, like I do what I want type. So there's something that needs to be healed, and that makes sense. So I'm gonna try to tune into collective's energy of these triggerings and see if there's anything specific that wants to come out that we might all share or make sense of this, because you guys might resonate differently with the triggers. It might be something totally different, something different other than looks or religion or sex. It could be something totally different, the way that they say something, or Let's see. 5 cards. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Princess of Wands. So it could be influencing by others, like I said. The Wheel of Fortune. It's divine, of course. It's divinely that way. It has to be that way. That they're triggered by you. The Star. There's some sort of healing that needs to take place. The Nine of Cups. Okay. The Princess of Cups at the bottom. So what I got with this is that it's definitely some mommy issues for some of these soulmates that you trigger within them. It could also be that you might come across as very independent, got it all together, very stable, very grounded, and they might look at you like this queen or this king, and then they're looking at themselves as this princess, which is the Page of Wands. So they're looking at themselves as a baby in comparison to you. And the Queen of Pentacles, she comes across very earthly and very beautiful, in a sense where she's not just physically beautiful, but she's beautiful spiritually. She's not like the Empress. The Empress, you know, she embodies all of the energies, but I feel like this person is only looking at you from the surface and prejudging you off of that. But it is also triggering these mommy or daddy issues because you have the mother and you have the child here. You have an adult and a child. So definitely it has something to do with that as well. That intimidates this person. Makes them feel inferior to you, makes them feel like they're not on your level. So you're thinking that this person is rejecting you, but it's really because they see you a little bit higher than they see themselves. Not saying that that's right or justified, because it's not. I don't promote insecurity or, you know, comparing yourself to others. So I wouldn't want, it's not a good thing to say that this person looks at themselves lower comparison to you. It's not a good thing. And I wouldn't want you to look at yourself any different. And we are prone to do that. We'll look at these men or women and say, you know, they're so much better. They have this, they have that. They look like gods or goddesses, and, you know, and everybody wants them, and I'm just this regular person. But at the end of the day, they're looking at you totally different. They might just see themselves as, all I have is my looks, because wands could be sexual energy. So they could be looking at themselves as, all I am is just a sexual object to people. You know, everybody just looks at me as just something they can play with or have fun with, or, you know. And then there's this person that is, they have some substance to them. They're the Pentacles. So they're looking at themselves like they're down here and you're up there. Okay, so there's that imbalance already. And it could go back as far as parents making them feel like that they're not good enough. They could never please their mom or their dad. They had to be someone they were not to appease their family or their mother or their father. So that could be triggered within them. And they could also see that you have high standards, okay? Most of us who are in these situations, yes, we go through codependency, and that's a part of the healing process that we have to go through. But most of the time, we want higher for ourselves. We're not somebody that's, you know, charmed by Chanel bags or charmed by big booties or whatever. For some of you guys, like, we might like these things, but we're not charmed by that. We're not easily persuaded by those things. We like time. We want somebody that we can have intellectual conversations with, somebody that has a stable ground foundation. They're stable-minded, stable emotionally. They're open-hearted emotionally. You know, they're healthy within themselves and spiritually. We're not just down here looking to fuck the next person, excuse my language. We're not. That's not what we're into. Although we may be very sexual people, because we're spiritual, we look at sex very differently. We may all be, you know, liberals, so we don't really hold it against anybody if they decide to have sex with somebody or whatever they do with their bodies. We're not that type of person. So our we're in a whole different type of vibe than what they're used to. So that can be very intimidating. And for us, we look at them and say, oh, we must not be something. They're going to look at us like we're weird, or we're too spiritual, or we're crazy, or we're loners, or we're losers because we're not, out here flashing our bodies. We don't have big muscles. We don't have big booties. We don't look like Kim Kardashian. We don't look like Rihanna or whoever else. Idris Alba. We don't look like Justin Bieber, whoever. I don't know. These are just names I'm just throwing out there. But we don't look like, a celebrity. We don't have all these followers. We don't have this or that. We don't have, a Rolex. We don't have Chanel bags and Louis Vuitton. Some of us might, spiritual women can be fashionistas. I personally don't like to spend my money on crazy stuff like that. But if I had the money, I would probably buy me nice stuff like that, because I am the Queen of Pentacles. I like nice things. I'm a Taurus. Venus ruled. So I like nice things. But that does not make a relationship to me. Looks don't mean everything either. And I feel like we can agree to that. Yes, we like attractive people. Who doesn't? But our attraction may be different from the next person. Doesn't mean that who you think is attractive will be attracted. I would be attracted to, if that makes sense. So there's this dynamic of up and down, good or bad, light and dark, spiritual, um, awakened versus sleep twin is what they call it. So this person is looking at themselves in a different light, and you might be looking at yourself like, maybe I'm too boring. Maybe I'm just too mature for them. Maybe that's why I can't get anybody, because I'm just too homely, or, and this person is lively. They're playful. It's a child energy. So they're playful. They're outgoing. They go out. They party. They do this and they do that. And I'm this homebody person, So there's back and forth comparison. This is what I'm picking up. With the Wheel of Fortune, Spirit is doing this, okay? This is something that needs to happen. You need to address certain things. And a part of it is kind of this energy of feeling like you're not worthy of what you really desire. So it's kind of like a suppressed desire within you. It goes back to your childhood, both of you, because you have the Princess of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is the Page of Cups. It goes back to this energy of being denied, because this Princess of Cups, she doesn't look too happy to be a child. She's like deep in thought or something. Like she's hoping and wishing, and like she just looks sad. So I'm getting with this is that really what all of this is Spirit's bringing this up for a reason, so you can address these mommy and daddy issues, address these superior inferior complexes you have within yourself. But also, it addresses the fact that you don't believe that you can have what you want, because essentially you want each other. I feel like that's what's happening. You guys want each other, but you're trying to find things wrong with yourself, trying to find things wrong with the other person. Why you can't have this? I'm not good enough, or they might not be good enough. This person, she's boring or he's boring. They don't make this much money, or she doesn't have big boobs and big, a big booty, or he doesn't look like Trey Songz or Shamar Moore or whatever. They don't look like these people. I'm just throwing names out there. I don't know where these names are coming from. But they don't have this, She doesn't look like Kate Hudson, so I can't date her. She doesn't have blonde hair. He doesn't have muscles, and they don't have this type of car. So I can't date them. But underneath the surface, I like this person, but I'm just going to make up all types of excuses as to why I don't want them, or why they don't want me, or why I can't have this. And it goes back to your childhood, and maybe your parents told you to stop dreaming, stop fantasizing. You can't have that. You're not going to get that bike. It's too expensive. You're never going to be a makeup artist. You need to just stop. You need to be a doctor, or you need to do something else. You're not going to be Britney Spears. You're never going to be Beyonce. You're never going to be whoever, Celine Dion, whoever. You need to just go to school and be a nurse, go to school and be a lawyer. Stop surfing, because it's not going to get you anywhere in life. Why are you doing that? Why are you trying to model? You can't do that. You're too short. So it's something that your parents might have said, and they might have not meant it in that way. Because sometimes our parents think that those things are not going to pay off later in life. So you need something that's more structured, things that people actually need in the world, like being a doctor or, a lawyer. People need those jobs. So, they need more of these people. So it's like in your head, this is what I want and this is what I dream, but your parents are like, well, I want what's best for them. Sometimes our parents can be narcissistic and make us feel like shit. Sometimes there's parents out there that say things to hurt us intentionally, but other times most of the parents say these things that we can't be these things because they're not going to pay off in the end, and not everybody can be Beyonce, not everybody can um you know be this famous surfer or skateboarder or whatever. Not everybody can be a supermodel. Okay, so they say things, and I feel like you took it deeply in your heart, because there's like this crystal ball that she's holding, and it's near her heart chakra. So she has this deep vision of what she could have been or what she wanted to be as a child, and it was really a big heart's desire, but it got suppressed. So with the star card, this is like the things that we believe we can't have, or is too far out of reach, or out of our league to obtain or be. So we kind of water it down, try to water our desires down, our goals down a little bit, try to make them more balanced. We don't want to be too out there with our desires and our goals, so we suppress these things. With the Nine of Cups, not believing that we can fulfill our wishes or have what we want at the end of the day. So we kind of water down these things. It's not quite the Ten of Cups if you're looking at it from a sense of what fills up our hearts emotionally. The Ten of Cups would be that fairy tale card. With the Nine of Cups, it's not quite. So you may be watering down your desires. And it goes back to this dynamic, this parent dynamic, and trying to water it down and say that I don't want that because they're not good enough, or because I'm not good enough. Making excuses as to why you don't want what you want. And I feel like that's on both ends. So you both, at the end of the day, are being triggered, maybe differently. And this is what's coming up. The Fool. Yeah. And a part of it could very well be that you don't even want to take a chance on this, because in your head it's like, this is too childlike, it's too immature, because that's what your parent put in your head. You got all these kid cards, these children coming out. The Fool, the Princess of Pentacles, you have the Princess of Wands here, you have the Princess of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So you have all these childlike things, and it's funny because some of you might have always dreamt of having this type of person in your life. We have the Emperor and the Empress together. That's a rare pull out together. So I really feel like you guys see each other in your highest lights. So that's why one or the other sees the other person as better than them. Sometimes narcissists, am I saying that right? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Look at themselves as better, or they do it because they have a complex, because their parents told them that they were not good enough, or that's how they registered their parents' actions during, their childhood, that they were not good enough. So therefore, I got to treat the next person like they're not shit because it makes me feel better. Okay, but really, you guys are equal. That's what Spirit's saying. You both are equal to each other. You have the Emperor and the Empress. Like I said, these are rare pulls. It's very rare that you get these two counterparts together in a reading. You guys are really equal to each other. And I feel like you guys know that, or you see each other in your highest light. But at the same time, you have to make excuses for yourself because you don't feel good enough. And a double meaning of this is mother and father energy, or mother and father figures in your life. Okay, your mom might have been the mom and the dad, or your dad might have to have been the dad and the mom, or your grandparents or your aunts, whoever raised you. So it comes back to this influence with them. And I can resonate with this because I don't know if my parents, or some of my family members, my grandma was another person that raised me. She was like a second mom and dad. My mom and dad, they never really discouraged me from things, but my grandma kind of did. I'm gonna just be honest, she kind of did. And I don't know if it's because she just didn't. She said things like, oh, you shouldn't be modeling because you're going to get caught up with these agencies and they're going to do things to you. They're going to rape you, kind of crazy stuff. Like stuff you see in the movies. Like that's what she pulls out of her hat. But it made me think like, I can never have that. Let me stop dreaming about this. And be a veterinarian because that was the best next thing because I loved animals. So let me go to school for that. And it turned out to be not what I expected, and not what I really desired to be. Um, Other things like telling me I'm stupid sometimes when I didn't get a question right on my homework, certain things like that. Um, Calling me out my name because I didn't know, I did not want to take piano lessons. I wish I would have stuck to it, but I was like 5 years old. I did not have the attention span to learn music and play the piano. I just didn't have the interest at the time. And she kind of beat me up for that. So these types of things you might carry with you, and it makes you feel very inferior to other people. And you compare yourself a lot, and it's because this happened to you at childhood. So if you see a person that looks like your parent, or looks like a sibling or somebody, looks like your family, or looks like you even, it's going to trigger you. It's going to bring about these it's situations, these traumas, these memories. It's going to trigger that, and spirit is up on it. It's all by divine orchestration and design. So that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm talking in circles, like I'm saying the same things, but just differently. So I hope that you guys resonated with this reading and that it made sense to you. So, as always, you guys, I'm sending you much love until the next reading. Peace.